What's going on, world? It's Kadir, Yosdorth Productions, Yosdorth_Productions on Instagram. And today I am answering one of the various Q&As that I received the other day on Instagram. And this is also a question people ask me in person as well a lot. And that is, what made me want to start taking photos and taking video? Now, this is like a double-edged question. It's like two sides to this question. It's a really drawn out thing, but I'm gonna try my best to explain it because obviously one came before the other. So I'll say I've been taking photos since 2016 with the camera. I've been interested in film since I was in high school, and I've always loved movies. So my earliest memory is my dad taking my brother and I to the movies, and that was to see Planet of the Apes. Now I think that's the one that came out in the late 90s or the early 2000s, but I know I was young, so I was like maybe 5 or 6, honestly. But my dad, he loves movies. I love movies. That's what we do. Like, we watch movies at home, whether it be in the basement on Netflix, or we hit the movies and go. So I have always had a love for movies. Stories, moving pictures, just really the story, special effects, everything. But always a dope story. That's what I always loved. I know that when I was in high school, I didn't know, I want to shoot movies. Like, probably in middle school, I didn't know any of that. Like, I was just, not to say I was floating, but I let things like life take its course. I just was, moving through life. I didn't know really what I wanted to do. But one thing I always was into also was music. And I was always that kid in high school with my headphones on, like listening to like Lil Wayne and all of that kind of stuff. But whether it be R&B or hip hop, I always listen to music. And like, music always gave me a vibe. Like, whenever I listen to a song, I'd be like, oh, how would this look? I would always envision something. So whenever I put my headphones on, hear a song, I'd always come up with a story in my mind, how this looks, what kind of vibe they give it. Because I like music videos as well. They always used to give a good vibe of what the song, So I'd always have like these little music videos in my mind when I listen to a song. I was like, what would this vibe be like, And it came a time, I think like around 11th grade, I was like, yo, what do I want to do? Like the end of 11th grade, I know I was probably like about to be 17. And it was around that time I was listening to a lot of like old school hip hop, so like 90s stuff. And I was listening to Tupac, All Eyes on Me. I listened to that song for like a week. I heard it before but never thought too much of it. But when I really listened to it, I had came up with this whole storyline in my mind, like throughout the week, every day, just naturally. Just every time I bump it, I just do it on my own, come up with characters, scenes, and I envision it. And that was the first time me thinking to myself like, whoa, yo, I would like to do this. I would like to write stories. I would like to, be a part of the writing process, as well as filming, shooting it, seeing how it comes out, like the vision. So that was always what I wanted to, how I wanted to do things. Like, I just always wanted to do things like that. Like, after that point, that was like, that was, what I wanted to do. So I'll say after that, I was like, yo, this is what I could do, and I thought about it deep. That was when the seed was planted for that, the idea of being a creative person, working with films. That's, in some aspect as it relates to story creation or shooting it. But the next 2 years, I didn't think much of it. I still always would like, movies. I would even write stories, write stuff down, but not serious stuff. I got to school, college, 2013. That's my freshman year, and still didn't know what I wanted to do at that point. I was doing little slight shit. I would write little stories out, but I didn't know how to write scripts or nothing like that. But I was kind of in that mode, like, all right, movies. But how to get there, I didn't know. So I became a mass communications major. So we had 2 tracks with the mass communications department. We had digital and we had strategic. Now, strategic was for people who wanted to become newscasters and stuff like that in front of the camera, and digital was from behind the camera, so people who wanted to be used camera operators, as well as people who wanted to work the boards at radio stations and stuff like that. A little bit more technical stuff. But for a lot of our projects, we would have to rent out cameras. They had DSLRs for us to use. So that's what we did. But like as a freshman, we didn't do any of that. Like, of course, I didn't have any mass communication class in my freshman year. We didn't really get into that till sophomore year. But we didn't actually get to use cameras until my junior year and the end of my junior year and the beginning of my senior year. So for a while, I didn't do anything with cameras, like actually using a camera. It wasn't until like my junior year, really, matter of fact, really my senior year. I was in school for 5 years, so I had a real senior year and I had what I call a fake senior year. Well, half a semester. I was there for half a semester after my senior year. But my senior year, that's when we got projects where we could sign out the cameras and equipment, and we could use it. So for my project, I started using DSLRs, Canon Rebels and stuff like that. But before all that, the whole summer, like that summer 2016, summer 2016, I was just doing a lot of research on YouTube, looking at like tutorials, searching stuff on Google, but mainly all YouTube. And that's what kind of got me in my bag with the cameras. Like, by that time, I had knew how to use a camera. And a lot of it wasn't until I could apply that stuff when I actually had the chance to have a feel for the camera and go out there and actually mess up, use it, and you know, make mistakes. But I will say that it wasn't until late 2016, and at that time I got a MacBook, and I would do all my editing on iMovie, and obviously I wanted to move up from iMovie, so I got Final Cut Pro, which is what I use today. So I started using Final Cut, and from Final Cut to iMovie it was an easy transition because the controls and stuff were the same. So I would do little slight edits here and there. I was okay with it. Still using tutorials to do everything, like just following tutorials. Like looking back on it, it was a period of growth. Like it really was a period of growth, because I always say to myself, oh, these other guys, they shooting this stuff and they just come right out the gate with it, but that's not really how it goes. It's always a period of growth. And looking back at where I am now and where I was then, I definitely was growing. I definitely was following the right path with it. Like I was definitely trial and error. Now I begged my mother for a camera. And I wasn't working when I was in school, like during the school year. So I didn't have that much money. So I was like, Mom, you gotta give me this camera, And she got me the Canon T5. And that was my first DSLR, Canon T5 with a kit lens. And when I got that, straight out the gate with it. I went outside, I was filming, because that's what I wanted to do. I didn't even think about pictures, I wanted to film my little videos, Final Cut, editing them. So I remember I went on break 2016. I would just go out, shoot anything, put together a little montage with music, and that was just me, like a training process for me, just to get my video bag. And that's how I really got my video bag. But when I go back to look at my stuff editing, I be like, oh, this shot don't look good, this don't look good. And I'm like, damn, how can I make my stuff better? Do I need a better camera? And I always would think I needed new stuff, new gear, and that's not really what it was. A lot of my biggest problem was my framing of shots, And I was looking at, I think, The Godfather, and the cinematographer from The Godfather, Gordon Willis. I was reading up on him, and he was a photographer as well. And I was like looking at the relationship between, I searched up on Google, like the relationship between photography and being a cinematographer and being a filmmaker. And they were saying, like, one thing taking photos does is it gets your framing right, and that's exactly what I needed. And doing that, like, I was just like, all right, I'm trying to take pictures. And I got on Instagram and started following a lot more photographers. And a relationship between photography and videography, they're like this. They're siblings, you know what I'm saying? One is moving pictures, one is stills. But I just started taking photos, man. And at first I wasn't too good with it. I think around 2017, like February, I was taking them since like January, but like February 2017, I got in my bag with it, and that was like I just started taking pictures of people at my school, like going out and taking pictures. I'm kind of shy, so now I would probably ask people to take pictures, but who I was a few years ago, not so much. I'm an introvert, but yeah, I definitely got my framing right. I started taking some good photos, and those were some of my favorite photos from around that time period. And you know what? I had I wasn't just using the kit lens. I had bought a Nifty 50, a 50mm lens, and I was using that. And I would say the Nifty 50, I took some of my best portraits with that lens, with the T5. And I just was taking photos everywhere, taking photos of everything. I started really getting my confidence up with it. And I fell in love with photography as well. So now you see I post a lot of photos, but back then it was like, I want you to video on it. But I promised myself, I'm gonna get right with this framing faces and stuff like that, and then I'm gonna start shooting videos. And it wasn't until February 2018 or January 2018, I think I shot my man Norm Dirty Jeans video, and that was the first video I shot. That was the first music video I shot, and that was difficult because I wanted to shoot music videos as well too. It was a time period. It was a time when I really wanted to shoot just music videos, And that was my first video. And then I think the end of February or early March, end of February, I shot my man Reggie, Caught in a Wave, and then I shot him again. But that video, I don't think we put it out. But I shot that video, and I forgot what that was called. But we shot that video early March. And so I was shooting videos, I was shooting music videos, and taking pictures. By 2018, I was really in my bag with both. I loved both, photos, videos. Had a period when I was just taking pictures of murals, and I just was in my bag. Like, I was really getting in my bag. Like, really getting in my bag. It was looking back on it, it was a natural growth, and obviously it was times a period where I got into creative ruts where I didn't feel so, creative, and I would come back to it and I'd be rusty, but I got my momentum back, and where I am now creatively, I'm in a great space. I will say that I love both photography and videography equally. Like, I love photos, man. And I'm always trying to do something new, experiment my style, change it up, how to edit photos, how to, do things, just change the look of my stuff, just always going for different stuff, and that's what I love about it. And this is something I want to do for the rest of my life. Take photos, shoot video. I would probably say one of my dreams would be to shoot, write, direct, and, a film, and I want to start with some short films, that's my next thing I want to do. But yeah, I'm just getting to it, photography has opened up a lot of doors for me, and just like I'm just thankful all the help along the way I received from people, advice, anything that pushed my brand. But it's just, I'm thankful that I was able to, have the foresight and to know, like, these tutorials I'm watching every day when I didn't even have a camera are going, is everything gonna pay off? And I don't know, like, I really, just the craft of it, the art of it, I love it, it has changed my vibe just to, I live this every day. I'm immersed in art, you know what I'm saying? I have an eye for stuff I didn't have an eye for before, just because of looking at photos all day and stuff like that. But this is something I love. It's something I always want to do.